So while going to school, I'm bringing you back to Liberia. While going to school, I'm sure you mingle with a lot of colleagues.
Right.
You know, some of your peers. I'm sure they were well off. Some of them were lucky in your situation. How did living among them look like? Interacting with them. What did you find in terms of similarities and the differences?
Well, similarity. When I came from Sinai to Monrovia, because I came to live with my aunt in Monrovia.
Okay.
My mom was not able to continue our education, so both my brother and myself, we came to Monrovia to live with our elders.
Okay.
And so when I got here, I was able to go to, at that time it was called Methodist Elementary School, which is now considered as J.J. Rawa, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Which was one of the best private school at that time.
Okay.
When I came to Monrovia.
All right.
And so I was able to affiliate with folks that I would consider, that were affluent, and I was able to get along, which I have a lot of friends from my early school days, and that we still communicate and see each other and whenever we do. But there was a big difference having and not having.
Okay.
Where I could see from where I have come and where I was, that what my mom could afford and what others could afford, it was a big disparity there. So, but having seen that did not, deter me. I knew that I had to focus on what I have been taught, that in order to appreciate what you have to give, put into it to appreciate it. Usually when someone just gives you something, you really don't appreciate, like if you really work for it. And so that was my goal to
value self-dignity.
Exactly so. But the disparity was there. It was obvious, and today I can still see that disparity in our community here. Coming back. There are some people who cannot even get a taxi ride, where there are some people that can afford it. So I think it's always going to be in society.
Yeah, it happens. You always have the rich and the poor.
Exactly.
You always have the middle class.
Exactly.
So that's something to go by.
Yeah.
But while interacting with your own peers, living among them, and just looking at their lifestyle, how did that help to shape who you are today?
Well, it did shape me in a vast way, because I could tell myself there that, you know what, I needed to put more time and effort into my learning in order to be able to be successful in my community. It also showed me that no matter how much later you have, if you put time and effort and depend on God, it can be accomplished.
Okay.
So, and
much more blessed to give than to receive. Okay.
Yeah. So, all of that comes in place with what my wife is doing today.
Okay.
Because it, like we say, is more blessed to give than to receive. And what she's doing right now is pretty much giving to
people who
cannot afford.
People who need it more.
Exactly so.
Let me come back to you, Lovetie. So what is this whole big vision? I know your husband just mentioned it in passing, but what is this whole vision? And what can you say sort of propelled you to move in this direction? I know you've been in education almost all your life, but what actually this time around propels you to move into the direction that you're looking?
What actually propelled me to move in this direction, as I say, that I got into education in the first place because of a sibling. We were from a large family of 14 siblings.
Wow.
And all of us had the opportunity to be anything we wanted to be. But then we had one sibling that was Down syndrome, that is Down syndrome and mentally retarded. And definitely we knew that life for her would have been different. And we had many siblings and everybody had their own area of interest. Okay, but my area of interest was strictly trying to help my sister. So I went into education, graduated with elementary education, and I thought I was ready now to help my sister, but only soon found out that I did not have the skill to help her. So what was it that I needed to do to help her? And I perused magazines, found out about something called special education. Okay. And I realized that if I could get that special education, then hopefully I was going to be able to help my sister. And what is special education? Special education is providing additional service support programs, specialized placements, or environments to ensure that all students' educational needs are provided for. But I found myself,
at their levels.
Provided for. But I found out that those provisions were not provided in society. When I did my internship as a student from Cottington, I had asked to get placed in a school where my sister.
Where, in Liberia?
Yeah, in Liberia, where my sister was.
Okay.
And fortunately, I was successful in getting to that school. At the time, she was in the first grade. And
at what age?
She was about 7.
Okay.
6 to 7 in it, because she had failed several times.
Okay.
Because she just couldn't learn. And when I went there, the teacher did not know she was my sister. Okay, so he introduced me to everybody in his class. He said, don't pay attention to this girl because, pointing to his head, she's now already upstairs. But I didn't say anything or say it was my sister. But while there, the first day I observed and noticed that he didn't pay any attention to her at all. And she came up smiling, to me, and I wrote a sentence off the board and tried to help her. So I went back home. I told my parents, I said, well, I don't think it's that she could not learn, but it's just that nobody paying attention to her.
Yeah, no special care.
So, so I said, I took the challenge. I said, well, I'm going to find out how best to help my sister and, move on from there. But then the Civil War came. We were all caught up in the Civil War, and around Octopus, we had a war. Octopus, I think, was at the end of 1991, 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I said to the Lord, I made a prayer. I said, Lord, if you just spare me, and, I don't, get killed in this war, and you just get me out of here, to go to America to further my education in learning about this thing they call special education. I promise you I will come back to Liberia, okay, and I will not only help my sister, but I will help those who, in need, like my sister. After I graduated from Cottington, I taught to the Cathedral Catholic School, for several years. Mm-hmm. And I also saw students in my class as I taught, like my sister, and I couldn't help them, so it was very frustrating. But I was very fortunate to go to America and further my master's in special education, work in a educational system for over 16 years in the state, getting experience. Mm-hmm. And the vow I made, to help other children, like my sister, mm-hmm. I'm back now to fulfill that vow.
Okay. To help build their intellectual capacity.
Yeah.
So what is the plan?
The plan is to create a safe campus in Liberia where these children can be trained, skilled to work and be productive in society. We've secured 40 acres of land, mm-hmm. and we're looking for about $150,000 to buy the facility, to buy the land to build the facility. And we're going to be focusing on 5 major areas in our facility: vocational and teacher training, recreational, commercial, and residential services we're going to be providing.
You say vocational and teacher training?
Vocational and teacher training.
Okay, residential?
Residential,
mm-hmm.
recreational, and commercial.
Recreational and commercial.
Yeah.
Okay, commercial aspect is what?
Commercial aspect is that we don't always plan to hold our hand out to beg, donors and people for money. So we plan to create a model where we encourage entrepreneurship of our clients and participants that live on our facility. We make things, we grow things, and we sell it out. Say we grow we grow pineapple. We do sell pineapple juice, okay, pineapple jam, okay, but let them know that they can work and be productive in that line. So that's what we're gonna have a commercial component of our facility. We may have hotel on our facility, where people can come and then our children are not very highly, functional, but they can fold towels, they can fold sheets, okay, and they can work in a hotel. We're going to have, cafe on our facility where international and local people can come in and buy food. The children can help to set the tables. So all of those things we're going to be creating. And for the envisioning of what we're doing, I will use a simple example. The university campus, is large. Okay, so we're envisioning something that large.
Very big.
Very big. Okay, for our people. Like I said, they are not accepted in society, but this is a place where they can live, okay, and be accepted and be welcome, and knowing that it's part of am I segregating them from society?
And then also know that they are productive enough to earn something for themselves.
To earn something for themselves. Am I segregating them from society? No. Okay, so I'm all about inclusion. Okay, so
creating a space that makes them feel important.
Feel important here. So some of them will leave from the campus and come and plan all partnering with other or businesses. For example, if I partner with your organization, I would say, well, my people will be able to provide cleaning services, to your organization. So we come in our van, okay, we'll clean your building, make sure it's clean at night, and go back, back to our facility, but they will be doing something. They'll be working, in the workforce, not just secluded on our campus. So depending on because my focus is the mild, moderate, and severely mentally retarded. So the mild ones will be able to come out and work in society. The severe ones.
You said mild,
moderate,
and
severe mentally retarded.
Whoa.
They have different. We don't call them mentally retarded. I mean, that's the term that people,
so it's mild, moderate, and severe mental instability.
Yeah, or intellectually disabled.
Okay.
The quote-unquote correct term is intellectually disabled, but people see them as, being mentally retarded. So
okay.
So that's the vision, I have, for them.